sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Test Ickles. Welcome everyone to episode 799 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and nipplecast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Welcome everyone, happy Saturday fam, indeed Dennis on the Facebook. Welcome everyone joining live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, as well as those listening on the podcast, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere. You get the gains everywhere. So welcome. Where are you watching from? Let's get a roll call. Where are you watching from and what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? What are you training today? What's going on your Saturday? So first off, rep your location. I want to know if we got some international swole going down today, because we usually do. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the last of an era. The last in the 700. So let's give a little bit, let's float some biceps and some gorillas, right? 799, the last of the 700s, the last of an era. We are ending. So we've been in here for 100 days, obviously, which is nice. It's easy to calculate. We've been here for 100. And we're moving on. So tomorrow will be a brand new Benjamin that we're going to slap down. And today we're going to talk some nutrition. We're going to follow up with that because we've been talking about it yesterday. And I've been posting a lot of stuff on my Instagram story, talking about grass-fed beef, posted about eating raw liver. And we'll discuss some of these things because I've been getting a lot of messages about when to eat these foods. And I thought not necessarily intermittent fasting. I kind of put that as, I don't want to say clickbait, but because that's a popular topic for nutrient timing. So we'll talk about nutrient timing, and intermittent fasting is really in the realm of nutrient timing, which means when you're consuming your food. And that's a nice segue from what we've been talking about, what you should be eating. So this is assuming you know what you should be eating right now. Okay? This is assuming that you already know, you already have it locked down. You got it locked down. You know what you should be eating, or at least you're in pursuit of what you should be eating. And that goes hand in hand with an elimination diet. That goes with literally scientifically testing on yourself what foods you should be consuming. Okay? Oh, I think Instagram was a little bit quiet here. All right. So if that makes sense, does that make sense so far? Everyone should be pursuing your individual nutrition spread. All right. Each and every single one of you should be following and in pursuit of your proper nutrition. And that's going to be very individualized. There's going to be some commonalities because we're all human beings, but what it really comes down to is what you've developed in your gut, what you've really developed in your small intestine, in your stomach, your digestive tract. You're the center of your immune response, really the health of your body directly revolves around your digestive system and whether or not you're causing inflammation, whether or not your body is constantly trying to deal with correct foods and foods that your body can benefit from, or it's constantly fighting and battling these inflammatory foods because you're eating processed carbohydrates, sugar, and whatnot. So first off, you want to be giving your body the right fuel. That is not going to be the discussion today necessarily. I'm sure there'll be some questions, but if you have any curiosity, what was that? What should I be consuming? What's the right fuel? You can go back to either, I think it was yesterday's or 2 days ago, 797, we talked about the elimination of inflammatory foods. And that's a cornerstone of your proper nutrition. And you have to take responsibility. First off, you have to take responsibility for what you eat. You have to take responsibility for what you eat. So let's start there. What you're consuming is the most important thing that you can focus on with it when it comes to your nutrition. What you're consuming, not how much, okay? Not taking out the scale and measuring, not the caloric intake. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. Well, if you don't eat enough calories, you're going to lose weight. If you eat too much, you're going to gain. Oh, really, Einstein? Thank you. You can add numbers together. Real fucking shocker. Everyone defaults to the number, to the caloric number, because it's easy, it's safe, it's comfortable. Let's get that through your fucking head first. Everyone defaults to the number because you learn numbers when you're 3, 4 years old. You watched your Sesame Street, you watched your Teletubbies, and they taught you how to fucking count. You're a machine. They taught you in school. You're programmed. 1 + 1 = 2. Do I get an A on that paper? 2 + 2 = 5. No, it equals 4, bitch. Okay, so we learned how to count. It's very easy to rest back and sit back and kick back to caloric intake, whether it's a surplus or a deficit. Now, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And I get messages all the time saying, well, I disagree because if you are in a caloric deficit, blah, blah. Yes, I get it. Conservation of energy. I understand how calories work. I understand more likely better than you do because I studied this shit. Now, I'm not an absolute expert because I don't sit in a lab all day and I measure the exchange of gases and energy and so forth, and the exchange of heat and the conservation of it. All right? But it doesn't take a absolute rocket scientist genius to understand that more is extra and less is not enough. And that's how your body works. Let's just keep it simple like that. And it makes sense. And the reason why it's so simple and makes so much sense, because it's simple, that's why people default to it. That's why everyone clamors around that, because it's easy to understand. It's safe. It doesn't take extra effort. Okay? It doesn't take extra effort. And what I mean by that is it's comfortable. You learn how to count, you learn how to add, you learn how to subtract, you learn how to do all those things your entire life. So it's a comfortable zone, okay? You can feel good in this area. You don't have to change anything, right? You just have to not eat so much, or you have to eat more of it. You certainly don't have to eliminate foods. You don't have to restrict yourself. Just have half a beer. Just have half a piece of cake. Don't have the whole cake. If you only have half, it's 150 calories, and then it fits your macros. And that's not how you're supposed to eat. Okay, that's not how you're supposed to eat. It doesn't mean calories don't exist. It's just not the base layer of importance. It's not at the bottom of the pyramid. It's not supporting everything else in your life. Okay, that's higher level. That's after you get the basics. That's not the basics. People treat caloric intake like it's the basics. It's not. It's not. Can you lose weight if you restrict your calories? Yes, you can. There are also a lot of people out there restricting calories and they're not losing weight. Why? Because they're starving themselves. One of the reasons why caloric restriction right off the bat is not the proper approach, first level, is because you're not getting necessarily the right nutrients. It's one thing to restrict calories, and it's another thing to not be eating the right foods and then restricting those foods. Does that make sense? If you're not eating the right nutrient-dense foods, and you're restricting the caloric intake of shitty, low-quality foods, like you're sucking down protein shakes and replacement shakes, and you're eating all these inflammatory foods, but you're consuming lower caloric value. Not only are you restricting your caloric value, you're not getting the nutrients, you're getting less nutrients. If you're eating the proper amount of food and you're getting the right nutrients, that should be the cornerstone. That's the pivot. That's the main approach. The main approach is making sure you're consuming the right foods, and then you can monitor the volume of the intake based around whether you want to gain weight or lose weight. Because if you're consuming 1,500 calories or 1,200 calories and you're not consuming the right shit, yeah, you might lose weight. You're going to lose muscle too. You're not going to be able to maintain lean tissue if you're eating subpar amount of nutrients. That is a huge issue. There's a huge issue in the fitness industry with restriction in calories, but also calorically or nutrient devoid foods. If you're eating a meal replacement bar, that has garbage. That has garbage. You're literally eating a formulated bar of just fucking shit. trash. You're consuming trash. And if you're aware that you're consuming trash, that's a whole other story. You have to be aware of what you're consuming. But if you take the approach of eating the right foods first and making sure that you're consuming foods that your body responds to, you've done an elimination, you've analyzed, you've tested, you know which foods your body responds best to, then you can work on, am I eating too much or am I eating too little? And that'll be very obvious whether or not you're fucking gaining or losing weight. How do I calculate the calories? If you're not gaining, eat more. If you're gaining too much, eat less. But it all comes down to what you're eating. Right on the board behind me, eat the right shit. If you're eating the right shit, you don't have to count shit. And that usually means because if you're consuming calorically dense and nutrient dense foods, you're going to get full. So you're less likely to overeat. And I've helped so many people lose weight without even counting a fucking calorie, just by focusing on what they're eating, because your body will normalize hormones. Your body will be satisfied and triggered to the brain and say, hey, we got what we need. We're full. We're good. And you're not going to overeat sweet potatoes. It's very hard to overeat grass-fed beef, sweet potatoes, vegetables. It's very hard. It's very filling because it's nutrient dense. Nutrient dense. Okay. So that being said, the foundation is making sure you're eating the right stuff. Okay. Eating the right stuff. David Weinstein, restrict through expenditure. Yeah. If you're exercising intensely, and there's a lot of big time bodybuilders that instead of beating themselves up with cardio, they just lift more. They lift more intensely. They do an extra workout. They, instead of doing endless amounts of cardio or super dieting and super strict, they use more. And there is a plus and minus. There is that conservation of energy. But to say that 200 calories of beef or avocado or sweet potato is equal to 200 calories of energy, and it doesn't work like that. It's not exactly plus and minus. You can't quantify that. Oh, I was on the step mill for 10 minutes and said I burned 200 calories. So there goes that sweet potato. Not how it works. Not how it works. We default and we teach, not we, not me, not us, but the fitness industry and a lot of these professionals teach caloric intake and expenditure because it's easy. It's easy. It's easy to explain. People understand numbers and make sense. 5 plus 5 is 10. 12 minus 5 is 7. Those types of things. It's very easy to share. It's very easy to share numbers. It's very easy to explain numbers. More is more, less is less. When you start getting people into the realm of, oh, you should not be eating this food, and they've been eating it for the last 20 years, they get defensive. They get protective. It's out of their comfort zone, and people freak the fuck out. People freak the fuck out when you talk about eliminating foods. They freak out, even though it could be damaging them severely their entire life, and the reason why they're not seeing progress. But people get very, very defensive about changing habits, but that is how you improve. That's how you improve. That's how you get better. That's how you get better in this life, is self-improvement. I just posted a little clip on the Swolenormous Audio Experience podcast about self-improvement. Those little steps we take every day, those little things that we do, working on ourselves, getting better. That's how you grow. That's how you grow. That's how you get better with training. That's how you get better in life, with relationships, all those things. You have to strive for self-improvement. And if it's not comfortable and it's outside that comfort zone, you've heard that phrase before, comfort zone, change occurs outside your comfort zone. Yeah, no shit. It's called pushing the bounds of adaptation. You have to adapt. You have to move forward. And if you're not willing to do that, then you can wallow in your own self-pity and be miserable. But if you're curious as to why you're not seeing results and you haven't gone down that path, it's because you're endlessly, mindlessly counting calories and measuring and scooping, and it's not how you're supposed to live. It's not how you're supposed to live. If you're eating the right shit, it's very, very easy to adjust caloric intake. It's very easy to eat more. Easy in the sense of just adding extra. It's not necessarily easy because if you're trying to gain weight, you're essentially stuffing your face. You're eating more than your body really wants or needs. So it is challenging to consume more food, especially if it's clean food. But that's a much easier proposition. If you're getting proper nutrients, you're eating nutrient-dense food, it's not a big stretch. You don't have to do 1,000-calorie deficit. You can just cut it, maybe like a couple hundred under what you're maintaining, and you'll lose. You will. You'll trim up because you're getting your nutrients, but you're also restricting the calories. You have extra on your body. You don't need as much as you're eating. Okay, so eat less, but you're eating valuable foods. You're not getting replacement shakes. You're not eating inflammatory foods. And the reason, and where we're going to, this is like a little bit of a kind of like a dusting over what we've talked about. The inflammation from foods has much impact after you consume them. It's not just, oh, I ate 100 calories of bread. That's what we think. That's where we have to get off the number counting. That's where we have to get off the number counting, because 100 calories of bread is not just 100 calories of bread. It's very inflammatory, and those 100 calories are going to fuck your body up. It's going to cause bloating. It's going to cause bloating. It's going to cause inflammation. It can cause joint pain. It can cause migraines. It can cause sluggishness. It can cause being tired. It can cause a whole host of things, and that's different for everyone. You cannot equate an inflammatory food, 100 calories of inflammatory food, to just 100. It doesn't work like that. In other words, the wrong food is going to have a chain reaction that can be multiplied in many ways past those simple 100 calories. That's why it's dangerous just to count. Does that follow me? Tell me if I'm not making sense, if I'm not coming through clearly. Let's take a couple questions, but we'll get into some nutrient timing. Maybe today will be a little bit more of a Q&A, but we're talking about nutrient timing, when to eat too. So assuming we're eating the right foods, okay? Eat the right shit. If you're not doing that, this is high level stuff for you. Don't worry about the timing if you're not. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter intermittent fasting. If you're any kind of fasting or 3 times a day or 6 times a day, it doesn't matter if you're not eating the right shit. If you're not focusing and you haven't figured that shit out, literally, if you don't know what foods you should be eating, this is too much for you. This is the next level. You're not ready for it. Don't worry about when you're eating the food if you're eating the wrong fucking food. It doesn't matter what time of day you're eating poison, you're still eating fucking poison. Michael on Facebook, I've heard people say all calories are equal. Bullshit. 400 calories of grass-fed beef and vegetables are not equal to 400 calories of gummy bears. Of course not. Of course not. Because you have the chain reactions of what those calories are comprised of. And a calorie, and forgive me, any science people, I mean, the actual definition of a calorie, which is not really important, but it's the amount of energy to raise, I believe, 1 gram of water, 1 degree Celsius. I believe it's 1 gram. I don't think it's a kilogram. But that's what a calorie is. It's energy. It's energy. And there's different types of sources that we can generate energy from. Okay? So that's what a calorie is. And they use that, they test it by burning or, however they fucking test whatever caloric value, okay? But these are details, fam. These are details. The human brain, we get way too cerebral over shit. We overanalyze things and we forget about the fucking basics. We forget about the basics. We forget about the basics of what a human should be fucking eating. Not grass. We shouldn't be just fucking eating lettuce and shit. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense just to eat lettuce. We're fucking human beings. We're carnivores. We're omnivores. We can eat a lot of different things. Our body has the ability. The reason why we are the fucking king, and you can hate humans, you can dislike other people, whatever. The reason why we are winning, and not just, we're winning in evolution. Yes, Mother Nature and the planet, and no matter what our technology is, we can get destroyed by natural disasters, of course. But the reason why our species has won and is currently winning is because we've adapted to eat everything. We can eat a lot of different things. We can fucking eat meat. We can eat vegetables. We can survive on many different things. That makes us very able to adapt, which is why we're living all over the world. Cold climates, warm climates, blah, blah, blah. We've won. We have the ultimate adaptation. You take a tiger and you throw it in the Arctic Circle, it's going to fucking die. We can go there, we'll bundle up, we'll bring food, we'll do all this stuff, we'll hunt, we'll cut through the ice, and we're smart. We're adaptable. And that's why human beings have won. So to think anything otherwise is just logically ludicrous. In my opinion, of course. It just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Kirsty. Hey fam, managed to get to the phone, picked up 540 pounds of grass-fed beef. Really? 540 pounds of grass-fed beef, tripe, lamb, chicken carcasses. Shame it's raw for the dogs. Damn, 540 pounds? Well, I eat raw beef liver. But yeah, I feed my the dog gets grass-fed. The dog gets grass-fed beef and organ meats, but eats it raw with sweet potato. What the story of insulin and fat loss or build muscle? I don't understand. Is that a statement or a question? I don't get it. Ben on YouTube, that doesn't make sense in my English. But thanks for the question. If you can reword that, I appreciate it. Michael, the calories in versus calories out, people tend to believe in that BS. There's really no reason to think that all calories are equal. They're not. They're not. All people have arms and legs and eyes and a nose and a mouth, but we're not all equal. We're not all equal. Some of us are stronger. Some of us are weaker, taller, shorter, better at certain tasks. Like, human beings are not equal. Everyone wants to think, oh, every human being is created. No, we're not created equal. Some are better than others. There are better humans and there are worse humans. There are stronger humans and there are weaker humans. There are smarter humans and there are more stupid humans. Nothing's equal in this world. Nothing's equal in this world. Nothing's balanced in this world. It is, but it isn't. It's survival of the fittest. The strongest will survive. The smartest, the most adaptable, the strong, everything. It's the best will live and move on and reproduce. That's what we do as humans. That's what animals do. That's what life does. The best survive. The best move on. And if you want to be the best that you can be and you want to build muscle and you want to be the healthiest you can be, it's time to approach our fitness differently. It's time to approach our nutrition differently. It's time to approach it with what? What are you eating? What are you eating? Okay. And if you have any questions and if you have any interest in figuring this out, it's very possible. You don't just have to, you're not going to find in a book like this is what you should be eating. And I'm not going to tell you this is what you should be eating. I eat this, so you should eat that. I never say that. I don't think anyone should just go by what I'm eating. It might work for you, but it works for me. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but you still have to go through the process of figuring out which foods cause you harm. And it's really important. It's really important to feel that. And just me telling you that these foods are inflammatory might not be enough. If you eliminate a food for 2 months and all of a sudden you eat it again, you feel like shit. There you go. You felt what your body does. You felt the response. And I think it's important to feel those things. I don't think it's good just to take my word for it. You have to feel that shit. You have to feel the pain. You have to feel the discomfort. You have to feel the fucking diarrhea destroying your intestines and splattering in the toilet bowl. You need to feel that because then you're going to appreciate eating the right foods. I know it sounds gross, but everyone's had the shits now and again. And if you know that when you eat bread, it just blows you up, or dairy, it fucks you up, and you can feel that, and you're not going to crave it anymore. You're not going to crave foods that your body gets destroyed by. All right? You're not going to crave foods that your body just like is always in defense mode. If your body's getting jacked up, you're not going to crave it. Eating the right foods destroys cravings. Thoughts on Kodiak power cakes. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is a Kodiak power cake? 100% whole grain wheat and oat flour. Sounds like a inflammation bomb to me. Thoughts on Kodiak power cakes. I don't know what the fuck that is. Is that a thing? Is that like a company, or is that something that they make in the Kodiak? That's my thought. I would never eat it. That's my thought on it. It sounds like something that's really hard to digest, and sounds like 100% gut raping, in my opinion. So that's my thought. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of that before. So in terms of intermittent fasting and nutrient timing, I'm going to go on a limb here and just tell you to experiment. Asking me about, should I do, what do you think about intermittent fasting? I don't think anything about it. I really don't personally think it's necessary. Once in a while, you can go without food. I think it's fine. You don't have to worry, oh my God, I didn't eat this morning. You know, intermittent fasting, when people say, I didn't eat until 2 o'clock, you're just skipping breakfast. It's not intermittent fasting. You're just not eating for a few hours. You're just not eating for a few hours. I don't think it's fasting or you're not fasting. Intermittent fasting. No, you're just not eating as frequently. And we make this whole thing about it, right? And then people create businesses around intermittent fasting, and then it's all over the news, and people have nutrition programs that's focused on intermittent fasting, and people make a living on intermittent fasting. So if you can create something new off something that's just fucking logic, common sense, like, oh, I didn't eat this morning. It's I didn't eat breakfast. That's not intermittent fasting. It's I did not eat breakfast. And then people create a whole business around it and then fucking talk about how that's like the be all end all. Intermittent fasting works for some people, and a lot of people, it fucking destroys them because they eat garbage and they feel like they can eat anything they want. And they eat too much shit because they didn't eat early in the day, and they get hungry and they overeat in the evening. I don't personally like it for myself, but if you miss a meal, it's not going to hurt you. Just eat later. I have no access to grass-fed. Should I stop, minimize eating meat? Well, I mean, it's not really, you're eating meat from sicker animals and animals that weren't eating what they should be eating. So I would recommend, cutting back on it. I'm not sure what else you're going to be eating. You can order that stuff online. You can Google it and find grass-fed meat for sure. But I mean, how healthy do you think you're going to be as an animal if you're eating unhealthy animals? Okay. If you're eating a sick animal, you're going to be a sick animal. It translates directly like that. If you're eating an animal that's not healthy, you're going to be an unhealthy animal. I used to eat Kodiak Power Cakes for breakfast. It's like a protein pancake kind of. Well, it sounds like it's all just grain protein, which is just, I mean, that's in disguise. Not a fan of whatever that sounds like. What's the food that messes you up? Go check out episode 797, Gabe. There's a lot of foods that could mess you up. You have to go through that process of determining which are the worst for you. Ben on YouTube, I mean, how does the insulin affect the fat loss? Because I hear people talk about low insulin equals fat loss. Low insulin. Insulin brings sugar and glycogen into the blood, into the muscle tissue. Your pancreas releases insulin when blood sugar is present. So when you eat carbohydrates, your body senses that when it absorbs into the bloodstream, and your body says, oh, cool. So insulin's like the taxi cab. Your pancreas will release taxi cabs and it'll pick up the passengers, aka the sugar, and shuttle them where they need to go. The problem is, if you're not exercising, if you're consuming too much sugar, especially processed foods, which break down very quickly in the body, you'll get floods of sugar into the bloodstream. So then your body has to pump out tons of insulin. And if there's nothing to saturate, if the liver is packed of glucose and glycogen, if the muscles are satisfied because you're not exercising, you're sitting on the couch all day, your body is going to have a lot of insulin, and there's a lot of sugar that has nowhere to go. So your body stores triglycerides. Plus, if there's too much insulin in the system all the time, the receptors start ignoring the insulin, which becomes essentially insulin insensitivity. And your body and that's type 2 diabetes, your body just ignores and starts ignoring the insulin. And then you have trouble getting rid of blood sugar. And then you have a big issue. Those protein pancakes rip my stomach up. Yeah, well, it could be the powders too. I mean, most protein powders have metals in them, and they're from dairy products. So Zach, Swole, aka Papa Swolio. What point in your life was a turning point for inflammatory food? Do you remember the time you ate something and said, holy fuck, I'm never eating this shit again? My stomach is actually really strong in the sense that I've never really noticed like mind-blowing issues, but anytime I'll have an issue, I'll feel bloated, or I'll feel sluggish, or, I'll have diarrhea or something. But I mean, that's a big deal. But I never had noticeably just one thing crushing me. Like, I can adapt to different things. I can handle it, but it doesn't mean it's good for my body. I'll notice it, but it's not maybe a glaring issue. It was, I would say, as it was transitionary. It was really over time, because like a lot of people, I made excuses and I justified eating sugary foods or candy, Sour Patch Kids before I worked out, and okay, I'll just get a little sugar in. I mean, but then you get into a habit and you forget, right? You adapt really quickly. And it depends on how long you cut these things out. The thing is, I was doing some of these like, different strategies, testing things out for myself. But the thing is, the whole time I was consistent with my training and I was eating a very strong base of food. So I kind of got away with some of this stuff a little bit more than I should have, really, because I've been so consistent my whole life. I still had this, like, on the outside, I still looked muscular and lean, and because I had that momentum. But once I started adding more fat, even more fat, more animal fat, more saturated fat, more grass-fed beef, more fatty grass-fed beef, literally that has crushed my cravings for anything sugar, for anything crappy. Destroyed it. Sometimes I'll eat things that I shouldn't, rarely, but I don't crave them. I almost just like, okay, I'll have some. It doesn't call to me. I don't beg for it. I don't desire it. I don't need it. I can turn it down. And that really came from upping the fats and upping the organ meats and upping all those things, because it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying when you keep your carbohydrates low and your sugars low, but you're balancing it out. One of the issues with people that do low carb, and the reason why people that oftentimes do low carb have those cravings, right? They have those, kind of rebounds, is because they're not replacing it with anything valuable. If you're having meat, okay, meat gets a bad rap. Don't eat red meat, too much red meat. Well, yeah, too much red meat is bad if you're eating lots of grain-fed lean meat. That's what we were taught to do for years, for decades. Lean cuts of beef. So not only are you getting a lean cut of beef, which is fucking devoid of any value, just a lean, just muscle, you're just eating just lean, you're eating it from grain-fed cows. So there's just fucking nothing in it. You're eating top sirloin, right? Flank steak, and you're eating top round, just lean cuts of beef. You're just getting filler stuff, but you're not getting any nutrients. If you're consuming grass-fed beef, you're getting a lot of healthy fats. Conjugated linoleic acid. You're getting omega-3s in proper ratios. You're getting a lot of calories. Fat has over twice as much caloric value as protein or carbohydrates. For every gram of carbohydrates or protein, there's 4 calories per gram for either of those. There's 9 calories per gram of fat. So you're getting more than double the energy value from consuming fat. So it's much more satisfying for your body, and you don't have to eat as much of it. You get more filled up. You get more nutrients. It's better for your body. It's more satisfying. It tastes better. Why do you think the human palate, why do you think we desire fattier foods? Now, I'm not talking about vegetable oil and fried foods. Yeah, we like those too, because it has a similar, I would say, a taste response, because it's fat, but it's a shitty alternative form of fat that isn't good for our body. But natural fat, there's a reason why that tastes good. There's a reason why plain chicken tastes bad. It tastes like shit. It tastes like shit. Okay? Just plain steak, plain lean steak, it tastes like shit more often than not. Or it's chewy, right? It's like, Why do you think ribeye, why do you think these marbled steaks and these fatty cuts of meat are more expensive? Because they taste better, right? They taste better. Why do they taste better? Could it be because it's better for the human body, because we crave it, because on an evolutionary level, that's what we should be eating, that's what we want? That's my approach to it. And when I started overloading my body, and not overloading, but adding that and replacing that more and adding that, making that more of a focus for my nutrition, that's when the game changed. My cravings, no cravings, zero cravings, 9 cravings, nada, cero, none, no cravings. I don't have cravings. I don't crave bad foods. I don't crave those things. And I do a lot of stuff on my Instagram stories. I post a lot. I answer all of you. I tell you what I eat. I'm talking about it here on the show all the time. That's what I eat. That's what I eat. My grass-fed beef has beef heart. I eat organ meats, so I'm getting tons of nutrients. Fucking grass-fed beef liver, probably the most powerful food you can consume. Just nutrient dense to shit. Okay? I have my grass-fed beef is 55% lean, so it's 45% fat, and I have beef heart in it, so I'm getting my organ meats. I have energy through the fucking roof. My skin quality is great. I'm getting sick pumps in the gym, strong as shit. I feel good. My joints feel awesome. My brain is like sharp. The more I push towards this eating style and the more I tweak it and even the more I do this, the better I feel and the more output I feel like I have. I'm just more clear in my brain. No cravings. I know, Varsha on Instagram. I just don't have it. I don't have them. And a lot of people in my community, a lot of you here that watch, a lot of you in Swolenormous X that have followed this direction, you know what I'm talking about. How many of you have moved towards what I'm doing personally, have started implementing some of these strategies, and how many of you have had your cravings just go away? Disappear? How many of you have just like no more cravings? Like none. You have that control back because your body isn't missing shit. Mark on Facebook. Been getting back on my intermittent fasting and I love it. When I eat in my window, I get goosebumps. It's what it's supposed to feel like. I don't know what that means. You get goosebumps when you eat in your window, like your food window. I just eat when I'm hungry. That's my window. I mean, if it works for you, intermittent fasting can be a psychologically convenient approach for people that just don't have a lot of time, which is fine. I mean, literally, intermittent fasting, nutrient timing, as long as you're getting your nutrients in, Mark, that's great. I don't always eat first thing. I haven't had any food. I haven't had any food yet today. I wouldn't say that I'm intermittent fasting because sometimes I'll have a sweet potato before the show and I'll eat. I wouldn't say I'm intermittent fasting. I just haven't eaten. I mean, I had my butter, oil, in my coffee. I just haven't had a meal yet because I slept in a little bit today. So that depends. The nutrient timing isn't as important as everyone's pushing it out to be. Every little change in something fitness oriented, have you realized this with everything? Everything in the world now, because everyone can start a business super quick online. So every time there's a little subtle change with something fitness, like, if we call it intermittent fasting, don't eat it till after 2:00, we can package it. We can trademark it, and we can sell it. And that's what happens. They sell it. They package it and sell it. That's all. That's what happens. Package it and sell it. So if it's something that can be redefined in a different way, they'll write a book on it, they'll sell it, they'll try to package it, and they'll try to market it to people. No cravings. I'm eating bison right now. Nice. Getting some weird interference here. Grass-fed beef. Completely grossing me out. Not a fan of meat, but I have plenty of energy. That's fine. That's fine. As long as you're getting your nutrients in, you're eating completely clean foods. I mean, if you're eating tons of carbs and you're vegan, you're going to struggle to get all your nutrients in, and it could be highly inflammatory. There are a lot of vegetables that are highly inflammatory, everyone. You know, you don't have to be a fan of meat for it to be good for your body, but there's other ways of doing it. There are many roads to success, and there are people that have a vegan lifestyle that love it. That's fine. There's a reason why it's a minority. There's a reason why it's a minority of the world, because it's not natural. It's not the natural thing for fucking humans. You know, it's not the natural thing for humans. There aren't tribes out there that just fucking eat veggies all the time. It's fishing. It's meat. There's a reason for that. We need fats. We need fats. We need that as humans. You know, we need those things. We're not cows. We don't graze on grass and lettuce and trees. We're not giraffes. You know, we're human beings, and people forget that. We get too much into our fucking head. We forget evolution. When I have eggs or meat in my first meal of the day, I'm full for a longer time. Most importantly, food is out of my mind, or else I start craving if I start with cereal. Yeah, because you spike your insulin. Sugar in the morning first thing is not a good thing. You should not be starting your day with sugar. You should not be starting your day with carbohydrates. If you start your day with carbohydrates, you are going to be on that fucking insulin roller coaster all day. You're going to crash. You're going to feel low mood. It's very, very common. It's very, very common. Very common. What's your opinion on eating protein before bed for muscle mass? If you're eating your protein during the day, you don't need, that's a fucking myth. That's a myth and a half. that you have to eat protein right before bed. You're not digesting while you're sleeping. That's not how your body wants to work. Your body wants to repair and recover. It's not easy for your body to digest while you're lying down because food is harder to push through your digestive system when you're lying down. When you're standing up, gravity pulls it through and your body is able to digest easier. Having protein before bed, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. If you're a professional bodybuilder and you need that extra meal because you're eating so many calories during the day, you have to have something later on. But you don't have to. I haven't focused on that eating before bed thing in fucking years, and I haven't lost anything. If anything, I've gained. When you're sleeping, your body wants to focus on sleep. That's your fast. That's your fasting when you're sleeping. That's your fast. You're not eating while you're sleeping. You know why? Because you're fucking sleeping. Allow your body to sleep. Don't be pounding food right before bed and think like, oh, well, it's going to keep me energized and it's going to give me all the fuel and the muscle during the night. Your body is fine. It'll be fine. You can wake up and eat. You'll be fine. If you're getting enough calories during the day, your body already has the energy. It's good. It's good. It's fine. Drink more water. If you're getting hungry and you're having cravings, you're not eating enough food and you're not eating enough quality nutrients. You're probably not getting enough fats. You're probably not getting in enough protein during the day. You're not getting that in enough during the day. I'm not sure what that response was for. Like cow heart and liver ? Oh, that's what I have. I eat beef liver and also I have heart in my grass-fed beef. I'm not sure you're asking a question. I'm not sure what you're following up with on Instagram though. Okay. So yeah, I don't think snacking is useful. I think snacking is really, I do understand. Let's say you're traveling and you don't have any food and you kind of like nibbling on something, that's different. But if you have snacking programmed into your day, and these are my opinions, fam. This is like what I do, what I have experience with, my own logic, my approach. So I'm not sitting here with like fucking 100 scientific studies because these studies don't really exist. Okay. The studies that we need to do are not going to be done. There's too many variables. We talked about that the other day. But if you're building snacking into your daily routine, like you're planning, I'm going to eat a meal here, then I'm going to have a snack. You're not eating well enough at those meals. You're not eating enough calories. You're not eating enough valuable nutrients. If you have to snack and you have that programmed into your schedule, you're falling short with your actual nutrition. There's no need to snack if you're eating enough calories, if you're eating enough healthy fats, if you're getting the right food during the meals when you're actually consuming, you're not going to need to snack. And snacking that's a bad habit. That's why smokers often gain weight after they they quit because they're used to the hand to mouth. So they shove food in their fucking mouth and they're snacking all the time. They're eating. If you plan on snacking, it creates a bad habit of just eating. You're more likely to fall off. You're more likely to eat something you shouldn't. You're more likely to overeat for those of you that are looking to not overeat, for those of you that are looking to lose weight. If you're trying to gain weight, then fucking eat, right? I mean, if you're trying to bulk, you got to eat. Yeah, there you go. If I snack, I keep snacking and there is never enough hunger for, yeah, well, if you start snacking, you're going to get more full, but you're going to get more calories in. And there are very few snacks that are actually beneficial. When someone says like, oh, what do you eat for a snack? I eat fucking meals. I eat my food. If you're eating the right food, you're not going to have to snack because your body is satisfied. You're getting enough, right? If you're getting enough, you don't have to snack. But guess what? Snacks make a lot of money for the industry, right? Protein bars, protein shakes, these little protein chips and shit, these fucking Quest bars and all this trash. Yeah, they make a lot of money. A lot of money. Every company has these bars and shakes and replacements and little snack meals and gel packs. It makes a ton of money. Unnecessary waste of money and oftentimes inflammatory and sugary trash. And that's just the fact. Is it going to kill you? No. Can you lose weight and consume those? Many people do, and many people don't. We don't talk enough about that. All the people that end up losing weight, hey, I restricted my calories and I ate this and I did on, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystems, or I ate these replacements, blah, blah. A lot of these people rebound, or they're not satisfied, or they look sickly, or they have migraines, they have inflammation, they have other diseases and issues, low skin quality, right? They have thinning hair, or they don't have a good physique. They lost weight, but they still have a lot of fat around their stomach, which is a huge sign of elevated cortisol and stress. You're not focusing on the right shit. It's eating the right foods, and it's doing the right exercise with the right approach. It's doing your meditation, your yoga with your strength training, eating real food. If you're going to eat beef, great. Eat fatty grass-fed beef, 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. It's the bone broth. I drink tons of bone broth because of the glycine, the proline, the great anti-inflammatory properties for the intestines and the digestive system. It's great for hair, skin, nails. It's great for brain function. All these fats are great for the brain. These are delicious foods for a reason. The body uses it. Uses it. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes. Regular potatoes are nightshades. A lot of people have issues with that, but sweet potatoes are much better, in my opinion. I don't eat regular potatoes. Sweet potatoes, day. Love my sweet peats. I mean, if you look at the nutrition value, you'll see all this stuff online. Well, they're nutritionally the same. There's really no difference between blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Bullshit. Eat regular potatoes and then switch to sweet potatoes and you'll see a difference. More than likely. I do. How come you don't eat much fruit? If you have fruit, you can have fruit that's in season. If you're consuming a lot of fruit that's out of season, it's because it's picked too early and it's usually a high lectin content, which is inflammatory to the system. Look at this, fam. I don't crave a lot of fruit. I don't crave it. How come when I eat meat, grass-fed beef, and fat, and avocado, and I had a big salad last night with walnuts and stuff on it, I had sweet potato and I don't crave fruit. I don't crave it. I'm not like, oh my God, I have watermelon, but I don't crave a banana or all these berries. It just doesn't interest me. I'm not saying they're bad, but if they're in season and they're ripe and they're not covered in fucking pesticides, then consume them. See how you feel. There's some people that have allergic reactions to fruit, but it has to be in season. The fruit has to be ready to be consumed. And the problem with a lot of fruit is that it's not ripe from the trees. If you're living in fucking Alaska and you're eating fruits because it was shipped from 5,000 miles away and it was picked early so it didn't rot by the time it got there, and the chemical composition of that fruit is not natural, and you have a lot of defensive properties that still remain in the fruit, and that can cause inflammation in your gut. Amanda Moore, I was a boredom snacker. Now, if I get to where I want to eat out of boredom, I just drink some water. It works great for me. Most hunger and hunger pains is dehydration. If you feel hungry, chug a liter of water. Like just drink until you feel sick. Chances are you're not hungry, you're thirsty. And no pun intended, that's hard for a lot of people to swallow. Everyone wants a reason. Human beings love to eat. Do you know why? Let's use logic here. Why do humans love to eat? Why is this such a sensitive issue? Why do people get so defensive about foods? Why do people get so defensive over eating more fat? It's because of these social standards, these social stigmas, these things that we're taught since we're younger. It's instant gratification. It's instant gratification that is potentially taken away from us. Like, don't take my tasty food because that's the only excitement. That's the only pleasure I get in my life. That's what your body is saying. All right. A lot of you work jobs that you don't enjoy. You have a lot of stress in your life. So eating is that one, or drinking beer and alcohol and eating crap is your one slice of, oh, this is instant gratification. This makes you feel good temporarily. You sacrifice the long-term benefits for that short-term rush. And like a drug addict, you sacrifice your overall health for like feeling good in the moment. And it will kill you in the long run. We're all going to die, but I'm going to be healthier than you are when we're 60. I will be. Want to make a bet? It's a huge combination of physical and mental. Huge combination. Huge. You just can't discount the impact of eating foods that are not good for your body or not giving your body enough fuel. It's just, the information's out there. And not only is the information out there, you can look this up, you can test it on yourself. Try it. Try it for 30 days. Try it for 2 months. It's not going to crush you. Try it. Put some effort into your health. You're worth it. You're valuable. Put yourself first. You care about other people oftentimes more than you care about yourself. You care about your animals or your daughter or your husband or your mother, your parents, more than yourself. You're the most important person in your life. You have to put yourself number one. You have to care about yourself first. Take care of yourself. Don't be the victim. Don't just eat shit because someone tells you to. Like, oh, this is low calorie, 100-calorie snack pack. Great. I don't feel like any arsenic tonight. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. 100 calories, 5 calories, 1 calorie. 1 calorie of garbage. A Tic Tac. Oh, it's only 1 calorie or 0 or 2 calories. It's just fucking, you're just sucking on sugar. Gum, Tic Tacs, candy, soda, bread. It's all fucking sugar. It all gets broken down very quickly into sugar, and then your insulin levels go spike high, fucking nut crazy, and then you have issues. It's not good. It's not good. Spiking insulin all the time affects like the lining of your stomach. It affects your digestive system. It causes inflammation. It causes the lack of protection that your body can provide against. It just weakens your immune system. It weakens your immune system overall. Like, there's the easy way to explain it is tons of sugar just weakens your immune system. Good question. What's your take on rice? I don't consume it anymore. Rice has never felt valuable to me. I used to consume more white rice and I stopped. I don't miss it one bit. Just no value. I like the taste, but you know what? I liked white rice when I had fucking grass-fed butter all over it. I would just cover the white rice in butter. Of course it tastes fucking good. I'm adding valuable fats to it, but it's a grain. I would eliminate it. I would eliminate it and swap it for sweet potatoes and see how you feel. Do that for a couple months. I just never felt any, I never, ever, 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 ever consumed rice and felt, man, I feel good. I feel tight. I feel great. I have great energy. I would eat rice and feel like, ugh. It just sits in your stomach like sand. That's why I stick to sweet potatoes. But I'm telling you, it's taking the responsibility upon yourself to figure out what's best for you. Try cauliflower rice. No. Why would I eat fake rice? No point. Cauliflower rice. I hate that kind of shit. It's like, hey, it's like, have this vegan hot dog. It's soy and beans and stuff, but it looks like a hot dog. Cauliflower rice. No, not a game changer. Cauliflower. I'll get my nutrients from real food. Cauliflower. That tastes like shit. Ugh. Cauliflower and broccoli. Why do you think people don't like the taste of broccoli and those things? It's because, and people put broccoli, broccoli is great with cheese on it. Of course, you're putting fat on it, right? It's all these foods that taste like shit for a reason because they're for aminals. They taste like crap. I don't know. I'm sure it tastes good. A lot of things taste good in this world. Yeah, Stone, I agree. Rice is a pretty inadequate carb. I just don't feel, look, I tested this on myself, tried it, realized that I feel better and my body reacts better when I don't consume it. So I don't. Simple. What's wrong with cauliflower? I don't know. I don't know if that's an inflammatory. I don't really know. I don't know if cauliflower is a no-go or not. I don't eat it. So I couldn't really speak on the nutrient value of anything of cauliflower. But why? No. I'm not. No, don't quote me. I didn't say cauliflower was bad. I didn't say it was bad. No, I did not say cauliflower was bad. I never really looked into cauliflower particularly. Okay. I don't know every fucking thing about every last food, but cauliflower is not on my radar. I just don't talk about it a lot. It never comes up. So, and here's the thing. If you add cauliflower to your diet and you love it and you just fucking love it, you feel great when you consume it and your stomach feels good and you feel great, then cool. Like that's what I'm saying. All right? That's what I'm saying in terms of cauliflower or anything like that. I mean, if that's your bag and you feel great on it and you've actually eliminated it and added it back in and tried it and tested it and you feel good on it, then go for it. Like, who am I to tell you not to eat that? I'm no one to tell you not to eat that. So that's not what I'm saying. So just to clarify, I'm not saying that cauliflower is bad at all. Yeah. You said you said before, you said cauliflower and I was like, eh. I mean, I don't consume it, but I mean, it doesn't mean that it's not good at all or that you can't benefit from it or you're not okay with it, you know? Let's see. Can I gain muscle and increase testosterone on keto? I can't speak on increasing testosterone. You'd have to get blood work done and see. Can you gain muscle? You can gain muscle on any diet. It depends on where you're starting from. Doing keto is certainly not a muscle building diet. If you're trying to build a lot of muscle, you're going to need some carbohydrates. You really will. If you're trying to build significant, because your muscles store glycogen and glucose, you're going to need some quality carbohydrates. I did full ketosis for a while. I would get dizzy and it wasn't great for strength training. Keto can be good for cutting. Some bodybuilders do something more along those lines when they're cutting down for a show and things like that. But when they're doing super low carb, increase the fast because it's more satisfying, this, that, and the other. But it's not like a muscle building. But in terms of you and increasing testosterone, you'd have to do keto and then go get blood work done. And then you'll know. And that's what most answers are going to be. If you want to know what's good for your body, cut it out for 2 months, 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, and then add it back in. See how you feel. Add one thing back in. That's why the elimination diet is so powerful, because you can determine which food your body reacts to. Why? Because you are actually testing it. You're bringing them in. You're doing it. There was another question that disappeared that I missed. So, yeah. So if the question disappears off the screen and you're watching on Facebook or something, you'd have to type it in again, because I won't see it. So if I missed a question, you can type it again. I had fluffy face and fingers when I had oranges and tomato after the elimination diet. Well, tomato skins and seeds are known inflammatories. So if you want to eat tomatoes, you can remove them or you can pressure cook them because of the lectin content. Tomatoes are also nightshades, and some people are allergic and have issues with nightshades. Same thing with eggplant and white potatoes and some other things. I think some other things that are just not really mainstream in most people's diets, but the nightshade family, and you can Google nightshades. There's a lot of bio individuality when it comes to nutrition. There's a lot of things that work for some people but don't work for others. There's a lot of uniqueness when it comes to nutrition. So you can't just do a blanket thing like, oh, this is bad for everyone, this is good for everyone, because you can't say that. There's some people that really do well with these extreme diets. So who are you to tell someone that they're doing something wrong when their health is good, they feel great, they're living a better quality of life, because that's where people really cross the line, is telling other people what's best for them. That's really bad. That's really bad. It's like spreading religious bullshit, and trying to be missionaries and spread the word of God and all this stuff and try to convert people. You shouldn't convert people for a diet. You shouldn't convert people for religion. Do what you want to do what you believe in, and you can talk about it. But if people want to listen, they'll listen. And if people want to try it, they try it. But you can't force people into shit. You can't force people. You can't force people into things. I mean, there's research, but there's a lot of stuff that you can't quantify. You can't research because of the variables. You can't test or test well. Let's see here. Keto isn't for everyone. My body didn't react well. Too much carbs isn't good either. Balance is everything. I disagree with the balance. I don't like that. I think I hate that term. Balance is everything. Balance is different for every person. You can't say balance is everything, because that's not true either. There isn't always a balance. It's not even, even amount of fat, even amount of carbs. Life doesn't work that way. Sometimes, your balance is different than my balance. And that comes with work life, that comes with nutrition, that comes with macros, that comes with everything. Everyone has their own unique balance. So, and it's very individualized. So if you say it in that sense, yeah, I agree with you. Daniel, I love peanut butter. And peanut butter is one of those highly inflammatory foods. Most people are born with antigens to peanut butter when they're born. I remember reading somewhere it's like 94% of kids have defensive mechanisms and properties in their body against peanut butter. It's a legume, so it's highly inflammatory. Not to mention most peanut butter is very processed and it's very high in omega-6s. It's just not a real quality nutrient. And of course people love it's fat. People love the taste of fat, whether it's vegetable oil, people love the taste of fats. But in my opinion, that's just a misdirected consumption. And that's huge in just, everyone's used to eating peanut butter since they were kids, peanut butter and jelly. And that's just like fucking sugar inflammatory bomb, a PB&J sandwich. And you'd have to eliminate that eliminate it for 6 to 8 weeks and then add it back in. But you can do better with, let's say, almond butter, or just eat more fats of other quality sources. I never liked peanut butter. It never reacted well with me. And so many people lost a ton of weight and ton of extra body fat by cutting out peanut butter. That's one food that people get really, really defensive with. No, peanut butter. Don't take my peanut butter away. It's like, Jesus, you're a fucking crackhead. Chill out. Chill out. People get really protective over shit like peanut butter. I tried keto as eating an ass ton of cheese and cheese is not good for you. You shouldn't be eating that's the problem with keto, is people just fucking go and pound cheese, and dairy is highly inflammatory for most people. I have noticed raw vegetables versus cooked makes a huge difference. Yeah, some vegetables are more bioavailable if you saute them a little bit. Mushrooms and cabbage, for example, cooked will put me in the hospital with my inflammatory bowel, but raw I have no problem. Yeah, I mean, cooking, adding heat changes the chemical properties and the binding and stuff like that. Some vegetables are more able or better digested. They have better bioavailability when they're heated. Asparagus is pretty good as far as I'm aware. And these things are usually, you have to test them, fam. Remember, something that doesn't work well for me may work better for you. But do you want to work better, or do you want to keep on trying to improve? So there's always something. It's just hard to cut out. It's hard to eliminate. It's hard to pull ourselves away from something we're used to. Comfort zones. I gave up on the keto after like 2 weeks. You were barely even in keto. You barely even got started, so you didn't really even give it a go. It's not for everyone. I don't necessarily think keto is like the answer per se. Benefits to lifting heavy in a fasted state. Depends on what you mean by fasted. Dangers, you might get dizzy or lightheaded if you're new to it. There's nothing, lifting on an empty stomach, or I didn't eat for 48 hours and now I'm lifting heavy. The more your body gets used to being on an empty stomach, the more or the better you'll find your performance, if that's important to you. Benefits to lifting heavy. It's probably going to affect your output ability. It's probably going to affect how much energy you have. It's going to affect maybe how you feel when you're training. You might get lightheaded. You might get dizzy, especially if you're new to it. So I'd be careful. But it's not like it's required or it's a performance thing. I wouldn't work out if you just ate. I wouldn't work out full, but depends on what you mean by fasted. Hey, I had dinner last night. I worked out in the morning, but I didn't eat breakfast. I don't consider that a fasted state. You just didn't eat yet. Everyone says fasted cardio. We use this word fasted as if like it's fucking, we just throw this shit around. A fast for me, when I use the word fasting, it's like a whole day, like 24 hours at least of not eating. At least. Just eating, or just eating dinner and then just not eating in the morning and working out at 6 a.m., but I didn't eat yet. So I worked out fasted. Not really. You just didn't eat. Benefits to heavy lifting is sick fucking gains. I agree, man. No doubt. I've been eating grass-fed beef, sweet taters instead for a couple of months now. It's way better. Good for you. Jack, good and bad vegetables for causing inflammation. A lot of times, like, seeds and stuff are not really a good thing to approach. I don't eat a ton of veggies. I mean, if anything, it'll be like kale or salad and spinach and stuff like that. I keep it simple. Is working out late night okay? If you have to. I mean, I prefer working out earlier in the day, but if that's the only time you can work out, then just get it done. If you drink a protein shake during fasting, is that cheating my fast? I think if you're drinking a protein shake, you're just consuming garbage and wasting your money. I think it goes beyond just a fast. I think you're drinking sludge. And yeah, it is cheating your fast. If you're consuming food, you're not fasting. And, there's different types of fasting that people discuss. There's protein fasting where you just have, let's say, carbs and fat, but you don't eat protein. There's like, if you have any carbs or protein, sometimes they'll say, oh, but I'll consume fats, but not protein or carbs. And that's a fast. It's, fasting. What does that mean? What's the definition? Just going without. So when I think of a fast, I think of not consuming calories. So, I mean, it depends on how you're quantifying it. So, yeah, if you drink a protein shake, you're consuming protein, and your body gets energy from protein. Your body can create energy from protein. It's called gluconeogenesis. Your body can create glucose. Your body can create fucking sugar from protein. And that's one of the reasons why if you eat too much protein on a ketosis diet and you're eating too much protein with your fat, it can actually keep you out of ketosis. And a lot of people aren't actually in ketosis because they're eating too much protein. Your body will actually convert the protein at a higher rate into sugar. So you're actually getting more carbs in. So you have to be very careful not to consume too much protein when you're doing ketosis, which is another reason why it's challenging for your body to build muscle in a ketosis state. It's good for weight loss. It's good for getting your body more adapted to metabolizing fat. So if you have a lot of extra body fat, it can help you lose fat, but it's not really a muscle building. It's not a muscle building. It's not like a bulking type approach. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of intermittent fasting, nutrient timing, all these things, great content, great questions, everyone. Go back and watch. I even forget what episode yesterday was, but 2 days ago, 797 was a lot about the elimination diet and stuff like this. I have tons of resources. I have a nutrition video series on my website, Swolenormousx.com. If you're not a member, that's a great thing to start with. If you are a member, you have the Nutrition Jumpstart available in your library already if you're a Swolenormous X member. So if you're interested in more of this nutrition, if you're interested in my programs and yoga class and all the stuff that I talk about here, but applied in full HD video programming, and you can get it on your phone, laptop, TV, wherever you are, access to the private community, you can go check that out, Swolenormousx.com. But this is a process, fam. It's something that will not be perfect, and it's something that you will learn and develop. So don't think there's any answer right now. I don't have the answer for you. I know what I do. I know how to help other people. But what I'm really talking about here is guiding you to start paying attention to this shit from the fundamental level, figuring out what the best food is, and then realizing that nutrient timing is less of a big deal than what you're actually consuming. So don't worry so much about the caloric intake to start. Don't worry so much about when you're eating and, oh, am I fasting or this and the other. Focus on what you're consuming, because if you're eating the wrong foods in any value, in any quantity, it can lead to a lot of other associated health issues because of it. Clint, that's true. I ate too much protein and I couldn't get into proper ketosis. I cut out the protein, added more MCTs, ketones went way up. Let's see. I had a doctor appointment on Thursday. I went in there thinking I was in good health. After blood test and EKG, my doc asked me if I was taking supplements, which he said stop doing that. What does that mean? What was elevated? Enzo on YouTube. I mean, it depends on what he was referring to if something was high. Don't forget, doctors are classically trained. So not to not pay attention to your physicians, but don't forget, everyone, that a doctor is a human that was taught by other humans, that was taught by other humans, that were taught by other humans that lived like in the 18 fucking hundreds. So we have so much information at our fingertips to the point where you can go and get blood work done at a fucking lab and then go online and check to see if you're in the right zone. Like, you have the ability to almost take you have the ability to take your health into your own hands completely. Completely. Your opinion is as valuable as your physician's. Like, you just have to educate yourself and pay attention to what you're consuming and use all that information with your medical visits and stuff. But you have a brain, put these things into action. Don't just be passive with your health. Don't just sit back and let someone tell you what to do. Fucking think for yourselves. Think for yourselves. Okay? Well, heartbeat. Oh, so you're really tachycardic. Your heartbeat was 160. Would you just like suck down like 8 espressos before you went to the doctor, bro? What kind of supplements are you talking about? If you just drank like 5 coffees and went and did a heart rate, yeah. Or did you just do like a ton of sprints and cardio and then go right to the doctor right after? You mean blood pressure or something? Because if your heart rate was 160, that's like almost working out at full intensity. So were you having a panic attack? What the fuck was going on with your heart, bro? I'm surprised he let you walk out and come on YouTube. Now, if your heart rate was 160, you'd be in the hospital, bro. They'd be injecting, they'd be slowing your heart rate. They'd be putting you in a fucking ER. You'd probably feel like you were having a heart attack. That's like a panic attack level. 160 first reading and 136. How'd your heart rate drop 24 beats in just 2 readings? Oh, yeah, blood pressure. Sorry. Fuck. All right. Well, just take care of yourself, man. Take care of yourself. Eating the right foods, reducing your stress. Don't forget, fam. Remember, I'm always talking about meditation for a reason. The psychological, we'll talk more about that maybe tomorrow, but the psychological plays right into the physical. So if you're stressed mentally, you're going to be stressed physically. But I'll see you all tomorrow for really awesome shit, man. And fam, episode 799, no more 700s. It's over. It's over. But remember, you can catch this every day, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, streaming live. And remember, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Spotify for the Daily Swole podcast. So I'll see you tomorrow for episode 800 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, and Bicepcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. I'll see you tomorrow for 800. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose, Papa Swolio. Out. Later.